Every day you wake up with two voices fighting inside your head. One tells you to take it easy, to slow down, to stay safe. The other one is quiet, but it burns. It tells you to move, to grow, to become something greater than what you were yesterday. The problem is, most people keep listening to the wrong voice. They get comfortable with mediocrity. They make peace with being average. They convince themselves that, one day they'll change. But that day never comes. Because the truth is, you don't rise to your dreams. You fall to your habits. You don't become who you want to be. You become what you're willing to demand from yourself every single day. You see, the difference between those who win and those who wish isn't talent. It's not luck. It's not opportunity. It's mastery. It's the ability to take control of your mind, your emotions, and your reactions when life starts throwing punches. It's the mental warfare that happens when no one's watching, when it's just you and that voice that says, "I'll quit." That's where the real battle is. That's where the real transformation happens. Because until you learn how to master yourself, everything else will own you. Your fear, your doubt, your laziness, your pain. They'll run your life and you'll keep wondering why you never break through. There comes a point where you've got to look yourself in the mirror and say, enough running, enough waiting, enough blaming. You don't need to wait for someone to motivate you. You don't need permission to rise. You've got to light your own fire, because the world is not going to hand you success on a silver platter. It's not supposed to. It's supposed to test you, break you, shape you, and see how bad you really want it. And let's be real. Some of you are standing in your own way. You want the rewards, but you're avoiding the responsibility. You want the progress, but you're dodging the pain. You want to evolve, but you're holding on to your old patterns like they're your comfort blanket. You can't become unstoppable if you keep living like you're disposable. You can't talk about greatness and live like you're scared of pressure. If you want to master life, you've got to master yourself. Your thoughts, your impulses, your focus. You've got to learn to say no to everything that weakens you and yes to everything that strengthens you. Because the truth is, no one's going to do it for you. No one's coming to push you. It's you versus you, your weakness versus your willpower, your comfort versus your calling. And the moment you decide that you're done settling, that's the moment your real life begins. So lock in, because today is not about motivation. It's about transformation. It's about becoming dangerous in your discipline, unshakable in your mindset, and unstoppable in your pursuit. That discipline is the invisible line that separates those who dream from those who achieve. Everyone says they want to be great. Everyone talks about success, about freedom, about being the best version of themselves. But few people are willing to pay the price. Discipline is that price. It's waking up when your body screams for 5 more minutes. It's showing up when nobody's watching. It's staying focused when distractions are calling your name. Discipline isn't built in the moments when life feels easy. It's carved out of pain, repetition, and the choice to stay loyal to your goals even when motivation disappears. You see, motivation is a spark, but discipline is the engine. Motivation will get you started, but discipline will carry you when everything feels heavy. The world doesn't reward talent alone. It rewards consistency, and consistency is born out of discipline. You can't master yourself if you can't master your time. You can't talk about chasing your dreams when you waste your hours scrolling, complaining, or waiting for the perfect moment. Discipline is the art of doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. The truth is, your emotions are not supposed to run your life. Your standards are. The greatest version of you is waiting on the other side of every excuse you've ever made. Every time you tell yourself, "I'll start tomorrow," you delay your growth. Every time you choose comfort over commitment, you tell your potential that it doesn't matter. But discipline, that's the opposite of comfort. Discipline is the voice inside that said, "No matter how I feel, I will do it anyway." It's not glamorous, it's not fun, but it's powerful. Discipline makes you dangerous because it removes your dependence on mood. It means you no longer need to feel inspired to act. You've trained your mind to execute regardless. You've built a system that operates even when you're tired, even when you're doubting yourself, even when the results aren't showing yet. That's what separates the average from the unstoppable. The average person gives up when they don't see progress. The disciplined person keeps grinding, trusting that every small step compounds into greatness. The disciplined person doesn't chase comfort, they chase growth. They understand that self-control is the highest form of power because it means you can delay gratification long enough to win the long game. Think about the greatest athletes, entrepreneurs, or leaders. What makes them different? It's not that they're smarter or luckier. It's that they show up every day with discipline. They've trained their minds to obey even when the body and emotions resist. That's mastery. When your mind says, I don't want to, and your discipline replies, we're doing it anyway. It's a battle every single day between who you are and who you're trying to become. Discipline is how you win that war. It's the process of replacing weakness with strength, laziness with consistency, fear with courage. Every decision to do what's hard when you could have chosen what's easy builds your inner armor. That armor protects you from doubt. You see, the hardest battle you will ever fight is not against the world. It's against yourself. It's against the part of you that craves shortcuts, that wants validation, that looks for excuses. Mastery starts when you silence that part. It starts when you stop negotiating with your own excuses. You can't rise if you're still reasoning with your limitations. You can't grow if you're always waiting to feel ready. Discipline doesn't ask if you're ready. It demands that you move anyway. The truth is, mastery is not about perfection. It's about consistency. You always win, but you will always show up. You won't always feel strong, but you will always stay in the fight. That's what separates those who evolve from those who fade away. Discipline turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. It's what transforms habits into excellence. You don't get to choose your feelings, but you do get to choose your actions. And over time, your actions reshape your reality. If you want to become the kind of person who can handle pressure, who can conquer goals, who can stand unshaken in chaos, discipline is the only path. Because once you train yourself to do what's right instead of what's easy, you become unstoppable. You stop being reactive and start being intentional. You stop chasing motivation and start embodying purpose. That's when you realize discipline is not punishment, it's freedom. The freedom to wake up knowing you're in control of your life. The freedom to trust yourself because you know you'll follow through. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they lack consistency. They start strong, but they don't stay committed. They want success in public, but refuse to train in private. But those who master themselves, they understand this truth. Nobody sees the grind, but everybody sees the result. Discipline is the unseen work, the silent effort, the uncelebrated sacrifices that build the foundation for greatness. You don't need applause for showing up. You just need to keep showing up until the world can't ignore your consistency. Every late night, every early morning, every no to distractions. It's all adding up, even when it doesn't feel like it. Discipline isn't just about routines, it's about identity. It's about deciding who you are and proving it every single day through your actions. You can't say you want success and live like you don't. You can't claim you want to master your life, but still obey your weaknesses. Discipline is aligning your actions with your ambitions. It's living in integrity with your vision, no matter how uncomfortable it gets. Because once you've tasted discipline, you'll never settle for excuses again. You'll understand that discipline doesn't restrict your life. It expands it. It gives you the power to control your destiny instead of being controlled by circumstances. The truth is, there's no secret formula. The formula is simple. Wake up, show up, do the work, repeat, whether you feel like it or not. Because every single day you practice discipline, you move one step closer to mastery. And once you learn to master yourself, your habits, your emotions, your focus, there's nothing left that can control you. That's when you become dangerous. That's when you stop being a victim of life and start becoming the architect of it. That's when you stop existing and start living with purpose, with direction, and with unstoppable force. Self-mastery isn't about controlling the world. It's about controlling yourself when the world refuses to cooperate. The second key to mastering yourself lies in building emotional discipline that cannot be shaken by pain, rejection, or failure. Because here's the truth most people refuse to accept. Your emotions are not meant to lead you. They're meant to be led. The people who fail to master themselves are the ones who let their feelings dictate their actions. They train when they feel motivated, they work when they feel inspired, they push when it's convenient. But the people who become dangerous, untouchable, unshakable, they train their emotions the same way a soldier trains for war. They learn how to feel pain and keep moving. They learn how to face disappointment without losing their fire. They learn how to walk through the storm and never let the storm walk through them. Mastering emotional discipline means you stop being a victim of your moods. You stop giving your power to temporary feelings that change like the weather. When you master yourself emotionally, you become stable in chaos. You can have 1,000 things going wrong around you, but inside, you remain unmoved, calm, centered, focused, because you've learned that emotions are signals, not commands. Fear doesn't mean stop. It means prepare. Doubt doesn't mean give up. It means pay attention. Anger doesn't mean destroy. It means focus that fire on building something powerful. Emotional discipline isn't about feeling nothing. It's about feeling everything and still choosing to act with wisdom, not weakness. You have to understand that your emotions will always test your loyalty to your goals. Every time you feel tired, it's a test. Every time you feel insecure, it's a test. Every time you want to quit, it's a test. Life doesn't ask, are you ready? It asks, can you stay disciplined when you're not? That's where mastery is forged. In the moments you least feel like moving, but still move. The average person waits for the perfect mood, the perfect energy, the perfect opportunity. But those who master themselves create motion even in the darkest times. They've trained their minds to say, I don't feel like it, and I'll do it anyway. Let me tell you something powerful. Your emotions are not your identity. You are not your anger, your fear, or your doubt. Those are states of being, not definitions of who you are. The real you is buried beneath those temporary storms. Most people live their entire lives reacting to the surface waves of emotion and never learn to dive deep into their own calm waters of strength. When you build emotional discipline, you start living from that depth. You no longer overreact, overthink, or overfeel. You simply act decisively, intelligently, intentionally. Discipline is the weapon that destroys emotional chaos. You can't control whether people betray you, whether the world disappoints you, or whether life gets hard, but you can control your response. You can choose to respond with peace instead of panic, purpose instead of pity, and power instead of pain. And every time you choose control over chaos, you grow stronger. Every time you breathe through the pressure instead of breaking under it, you take back your power. Emotional discipline is not built in comfort. It's built in the fire. You build it when you sit in pain and say, I'm not leaving until I learn something from this. It's not about pretending emotions don't exist. It's about refusing to let them dictate the direction of your life. You can cry and still move forward. You can be scared and still take action. You can be hurt and still be kind. That's what separates the masters from the amateurs. The amateur lets emotion make decisions. The master feels everything, then makes decisions based on values, vision, and purpose, because emotion will make you react, but purpose will make you respond. Understand this, you cannot master yourself until you stop chasing emotional highs. Stop relying on motivation. Stop waiting till feel ready. Motivation is like lightning. It strikes hard, but disappears quickly. Discipline is the fire that never dies. When you rely on motivation, you're unstable. One bad day, one setback, one harsh word from someone, and your whole drive collapses. But when you build emotional discipline, nothing outside of you can control what happens inside of you. Think about the greats, athletes, leaders, creators. They all feel fear, pressure, and exhaustion. The difference is that they don't obey those feelings. They've learned to use their emotions like fuel, not excuses. The fear pushes them to prepare harder. The pressure reminds them that they're built for big moments. The pain keeps them grounded and humble. Emotional discipline transforms every negative feeling into power. It's not that they don't feel. It's that they've learned to interpret every feeling through the lens of purpose. The problem is that most people don't want to feel discomfort. They run from it. But the truth is, emotional strength is only built through discomfort. You can't master your emotions if you're always protecting yourself from feeling them. You have to face them head on. You have to look your pain in the eyes and say, you will not define me. You have to let your fear scream and still walk forward. That's how mastery is born. through confrontation, not avoidance. Emotional discipline also means learning patience. In a world that wants everything fast, fast money, fast success, fast results, you have to learn to wait, to endure, to stay focused while time tests you. Most people lose control not because they lack skill, but because they lose patience. They want to skip the struggle, skip the waiting, skip the grind. But mastery requires time, and time requires emotional control. You must be able to live in delay without losing direction. You must be able to stay calm when life feels slow, because you know greatness is never rushed. It's refined. So the next time you're angry, don't explode, analyze. The next time you're afraid, don't freeze, focus. The next time you're hurt, don't hide, heal. The more you practice this, the more power you reclaim from your emotions. Eventually, they stop controlling you and you start commanding them. Start commanding them. You'll realize that emotional discipline is the foundation of every great life. Because without it, no amount of talent, intelligence, or opportunity will save you from self-destruction. When you master emotional discipline, you stop being reactive and start being proactive. You no longer live at the mercy of what happens. You decide how to make what happens serve your growth. You stop living like a slave to your moods and start living like a master of your destiny. Because the moment you can control what happens inside of you, nothing outside of you can break you. That's when you become unstoppable. That's when you truly master yourself. That the final key to mastering yourself is to commit to becoming a lifelong warrior of growth. Someone who refuses to stay the same, no matter how successful, comfortable, or broken life becomes. The journey of self-mastery doesn't end when you achieve something. It begins again every time you evolve. The moment you think you've arrived, you already started to decay. True mastery is about constant transformation, about never letting who you are today limit who you could become tomorrow. It's the commitment to wake up every single day with a mindset that says, I'm not finished yet. Because the truth is, there's always another level of strength, focus, and greatness hidden inside you. But you'll never find it if you stop growing. Growth demands humility. It demands that you admit you don't know everything, that there's always something new to learn, something deeper to understand, some part of yourself that still needs refining. Most people stop growing not because they lack ability, but because they think they figured life out. They get comfortable in their routine, they protect their ego, and they stop stretching. But a person who masters themselves understands that comfort is the silent killer of potential. The more comfortable you get, the weaker your hunger becomes. And when your hunger dies, your progress dies with it. You have to stay hungry for your own evolution, hungry to push beyond the limits that you've outgrown, hungry to meet the stronger, wiser, more disciplined version of yourself that's waiting on the other side of pain. Self-mastery is not a destination, it's a lifestyle. It's the daily decision to keep sharpening your mind, your spirit, your habits, and your purpose. It's knowing that life will always change, people will always shift, seasons will always end, but your commitment to growth remains your anchor. When you choose growth, you take control of your evolution. You stop being shaped by circumstances and start shaping yourself. You stop being reactive to life's changes and start directing how you rise from them. You start seeing every obstacle as a lesson, every failure as feedback, every pain as a teacher. You begin to understand that everything in life is training, every rejection, every setback, every lonely night. It's all part of the discipline that sculpts your greatness. But to truly grow, you have to face one of the hardest truths. You must kill parts of yourself that no longer serve who you are becoming. You can't carry your old self into your new life. You can't bring your old excuses, your old mindset, your old habits into a higher level of existence. Every evolution requires a sacrifice. Sometimes that means walking away from people who don't grow with you. Sometimes it means letting go of identities that once made you feel safe, but now keep you small. Growth requires death, the death of who you were, so that a stronger, wiser version can rise. The process is not comfortable. It's lonely, it's painful, it's confusing. But that's what mastery feels like. It's not glamorous, it's transformative, it's fire, and you're the one who has to stand in it until the old you burns away. You can't master yourself if you're still afraid of change. You can't evolve if you're still addicted to comfort. Every time you resist change, you resist growth. The person you want to become is waiting for you on the other side of your resistance. And the only way to get there is to move through fear, through doubt, through uncertainty. The greatest masters are not fearless. They're trained. They've learned to walk with fear, to grow under pressure, to adapt without breaking. They treat every challenge as a mirror that shows them where they need to grow next. Because that's what growth is, a constant confrontation with your own limitations. If you truly want to master yourself, you must develop the courage to challenge your own thinking. Most people never question their beliefs, their habits, or their behavior. They just live on autopilot, repeating patterns without realizing those patterns are the reason they're stuck. But you can't change what you won't confront. Growth requires awareness. It requires the brutal honesty to say, I'm the problem, but I'm also the solution. You have to be willing to audit yourself every single day. Ask yourself, am I evolving or repeating? Am I getting stronger or just getting older? Am I living with intention or just reacting to life? Because self-mastery begins with self-awareness. You can't transform what you won't acknowledge. And when you start growing consciously, you begin to separate yourself from the majority. Because most people will stay in cycles they hate just because they're comfortable. They'll protect their comfort over their calling, their pride over their progress. But not you. Not if you're serious about mastery. You must be willing to outgrow everything and everyone that keeps you small. That means breaking cycles, saying no more often, walking alone if you must. It means chasing wisdom more than validation, choosing peace over popularity, choosing discipline over distraction. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you prove that you're mastering yourself. Because growth will always be uncomfortable, but it's the discomfort that builds your power. To grow, you have to expose yourself to pressure. You have to put yourself in situations that force you to evolve. A diamond is just a piece of coal that refuses to crumble under pressure. And you are no different. You have to stop avoiding pressure and start embracing it. Pressure doesn't destroy strong people. It reveals them. Every time life tightens around you, it's asking, can you handle more? The more pressure you can endure without breaking, the stronger your foundation becomes. That's why growth is never soft. It's demanding. It's exhausting. It's relentless. But every day you stay in the process. Every time you refuse to give up, you carve your name into the wall of greatness. Growth also requires you to think long term. You can't master yourself if you're obsessed with short-term satisfaction. You have to stop thinking in days and start thinking in decades. Every little decision you make, how you spend your time, what you consume, who you surround yourself with, either builds or breaks your future. You have to move with patience, knowing that real transformation takes time. Most people quit because they want results faster than they can grow. But mastery takes years, even decades. The tree doesn't complain about the storm. It uses the wind to strengthen its roots. That's what you must do. Let the storms deepen your strength, not destroy your spirit. And finally, the most important part of growth is contribution. You don't master yourself just to feel powerful. You master yourself so you can give that power back to the world. You grow so you can help others grow. You learn discipline so you can inspire others to find theirs. You overcome your pain so you can show others that healing is possible. Because self-mastery isn't selfish, it's service. The stronger you become, the more light you bring to others. The more you grow, the more you lift the people around you. That's the legacy of mastery. Not trophies or fame, but impact. So understand this. Self-mastery is a never-ending climb. You'll fall, you'll stumble, you'll question yourself 1,000 times. But as long as you keep rising, as long as you keep learning, as long as you keep evolving, you're winning. Growth isn't about perfection. It's about progression. Every day you become a little more focused, a little more patient, a little more powerful. That's mastery in motion. And one day when you look back, you realize that the version of you who started this journey could never have survived the storms you've endured. That's how you'll know you've grown. That's how you'll know you've mastered yourself. Doc, listen to me. At the end of the day, life is not about what happens to you. It's about what you do with it. You can't control every situation. You can't predict every storm, but you can control how you show up. You can control your attitude, your focus, your energy. You can control whether you break or build under pressure. And that's where mastery is born. In the moments when you choose to rise instead of retreat, when you decide to fight instead of fold. The world doesn't respect the talkers, the dreamers, the almost people. It respects those who take full command of themselves and refuse to quit until they become who they were meant to be. You see, most people spend their lives waiting for motivation, waiting for the right moment, waiting for things to feel right. But the ones who make history, they move even when it hurts. They show up when they're tired. They grind when no one's clapping. Because mastery isn't about feeling ready. It's about becoming ready through action. It's about doing what needs to be done over and over again until your results speak louder than your excuses. Every single day is a new chance to take one more step toward the life you said you wanted. But you've got to stop negotiating with your potential. You've got to stop letting comfort talk you out of greatness. There's a version of you that's dying to break out. A version that doesn't second guess, doesn't settle, doesn't stop when things get tough. But that version can only come alive when you start demanding more from yourself. You have to start living like your dreams depend on your discipline. Because they do. You can't master your life if you can't master your mind. You can't conquer your future if you keep surrendering to your weaknesses. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, every time you choose consistency over comfort, you take one more step toward the person you were designed to be. The truth is, no one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you greatness. You have to take it. You have to earn it through sweat, sacrifice, and self-control. You have to look in the mirror every morning and say, I'm not stopping until I become the person I promised myself I'd be. That's mastery. Not perfection, but persistence. Not luck, but loyalty to your purpose. So when you leave this moment, don't just feel inspired. Act. Don't just nod your head. Commit. Don't just dream. Build. Every second you waste is one you can never get back. And every second you invest is one that builds your future. You already have everything you need. The strength, the mind, the potential. It's all inside you. Now it's time to master it. Because when you master yourself, nothing in this world can stop you. You don't need permission. You don't need validation. All you need is fire. And once you light it, never let it die.